Life of Martin Luther King by Malik Burnett. Dr. Michael Luther King Jr. changed his name to Martin Luther King Jr. He was born in Atlanta, Georgia on January 15, 1929. He was an African-American Christian minister who conducted the Civil Rights Movement. Dr. King's grandfather was the first pastor in the family, serving at Ebenezer Baptist Church, serving from 1914 to 1931. Dr. King's father served as pastor from 1931 until his death. And from 1960 until his death, King acted as co-pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta. Dr. King started school at a young age while attending segregated public schools in Georgia. Although Dr. King started at a young age, he graduated high school at age 15. After graduating high school, Dr. King received a Bachelor's of Arts in 1948 from Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. Morehouse College was a distinguished Negro institution of Atlanta. Dr. King attended Morehouse because both his grandfather and his father attended Morehouse College as well. Myers studied 3 years of theological study at Crozer Theological Seminary in Pennsylvania and was elected for the president of a predominantly white senior class while also being awarded the bachelor's degree in 1951. Having the fellowship he won at Crozer, Dr. King enrolled at Boston University to complete his graduate studies, which he completed for his Regius Doctorate in 1953, also receiving the degree in 1955. While Dr. King was in Boston, he met and soon married a woman named Coretta Scott. Coretta was a young woman of uncommon intellectual and artistic attainments. Dr. King and Coretta had 4 children, 2 sons, Martin and Dexter, and 2 girls, Yolanda and Bernice. In 1954, Martin Luther King decided to become the pastor of Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama. When Martin became pastor at Dexter Avenue Baptist Church, he began to become a civil rights leader for the people that looked up to him inside and outside of the church. Martin was always a strong worker for the civil rights movements. Before you knew it, King was by this time a member of the Executive Committee of National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, leading organizations of its kind in nations. He was such a great leader that in early December 1955, he accepted the leadership of the first great Negro nonviolent demonstration of contemporary times, not only in Montgomery but in the United States. Dr. King played an enormous role in the bus boycott described by Gunnar Jan in his presentation speech in John of Loretta. The boycott lasted 382 days. On December 21st, 1956, after the Supreme Court of the United States had declared unconstitutional laws requiring segregation on bus, which made it equal for blacks and whites to ride bus as equals. During the time of the bus boycott, King was threatened, arrested, and his home was bombed. He was subjected to personal abuse, and through all the controversy obstacles, he still emerged as a Negro leader of the first rank. In 1957, Martin was elected as the president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, an organization that had been formed to provide new leadership for the flourishing civil rights movements. He took some of the ideas from organizations from Christianity's its optional techniques from Gandhi in the 11-year period between 1957 and 1968. King consistently traveled over millions of miles and spoke over 2,500 times to twice as many people, as miles taken appearing wherever there was injustice, protest, and action, while completing 5 books as well as numerous articles. In these 5 years, he led a massive protest in Birmingham, Alabama that caught the attention of the entire world, proving that he called the coalition of Coince. Martin inspired his letter from a Birmingham jail, a manifesto of the Negro Revolution. He planned the drives in Alabama of the registration of Negroes as voters. He directed the peaceful march of Washington, D.C. of 250,000 people, where he delivered his I Have a Dream speech. Dr. King was awarded 5 honorary degrees, was named Man of the Year by Times Magazine in 1963, and became not only the symbolic leader of the American blacks, but also a world figure. At the age of 35, Martin Luther King was the youngest man to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. When he was notified of the selection, he announced that he would turn over the prize money of $54,123 to furtherance of the civil rights movement. On the evening of April 4th, 1968, while standing on the balcony of his hotel, room in Memphis, Tennessee, before he could lead a protest march in sympathy with striking garbage workers of the city. He was assassinated. Dr. King changed the world for not only African Americans, but for all races. Because of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I too have a dream.